Welcome to the Transitions Daily podcast. Transitions Daily is an online recovery group that offers a daily distribution of popular recovery resources accompanied by a secret Facebook group for discussion. We hope you enjoy today's readings.
This is Transitions Daily for December the 18th, read by Kirsty S. from the East Midlands in the United Kingdom. AA Thoughts for the Day. Miracle. And we have ceased fighting anything or anyone, even alcohol. For by this time sanity will have returned. We will seldom be interested in liquor. If tempted, we recoil from it as from a hot flame. We react sanely and normally, and we will find that this has happened automatically. We will see that our new attitude toward liquor has been given us without any thought or effort on our part. It just comes. That is the miracle of it. Alcoholics Anonymous, pages 84 to 85. Thought to consider. Don't give up before the miracles happen. Acronyms. Pride. Pretty ridiculous individual directing everything. Just for today. Bill undercover. AA history. Among the odd jobs that Bill cited in Bill's story was his mention of working on a farm for a month. During 1925, Bill and Lois took off on a trip down the East Coast inspecting companies to see if their stock might be good Wall Street investments. They camped up and down the coast and carried all of their belongings in the Harley-Davidson motorcycle and sidecar that Bill had purchased. At the end of April 1925, they stopped at the Goldfoot family dairy farm in Scotia, New York, near Schenectady. Mr. Goldfoot had two sons, both of whom worked for General Electric, company that Bill was able to penetrate for investment investigation by befriending some of their employees during that month. They also worked for the Goldfoots to earn some money to continue on this most successful trip. Lois later acknowledged that she hadn't cared if they earned a cent on that trip. She had been hoping the fresh air and the hobo lifestyle would help Bill slow up on his drinking. Pass it on, page 70. Daily reflections. Honesty with newcomers. Tell him exactly what happened to you. Stress the spiritual feature freely. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 93. The marvel of AA is that I tell only what happened to me. I don't waste time offering advice to potential newcomers, for if advice worked, nobody would get to AA. All I have to do is show what has brought me sobriety and what has changed my life. If I fail to stress the spiritual features of AA's program, I am being dishonest. The newcomer should not be given a false impression of sobriety. I am sober only through the grace of my higher power, and that makes it possible for me to share with others. As Bill sees it, random quote, troubles of our own making. Selfishness, self-centeredness, that, we think, is the root of our troubles. Driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking and self-pity, we step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. Sometimes they hurt us, seemingly without provocation, but we invariably find that at some time in the past we have made decisions based on self, which later places us in a position to be hurt. So our troubles, we think, are basically of our own making. They arise out of ourselves, and the alcoholic is an extreme example of self-will run riot, though he usually doesn't think so. Above everything, we alcoholics must be rid of this selfishness. We must, or it kills us. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 62. Big Book quote. But there was always the curious mental phenomenon that parallel with our sound reasoning, there inevitably ran some insanely trivial excuse for taking the first drink. Our sound reasoning failed to hold us in check. The insane idea won out. Next day, we would ask ourselves, in all earnestness and sincerity, how it could have happened. Alcoholics Anonymous, more about alcoholism, page 37. 24 hours a day. AA thought for the day. Unless we have the key of faith to unlock the meaning of life, we are lost. We do not choose faith because it is one way for us, but because it is the only way. Many have failed and will fail, for we cannot live victoriously without faith. We are at sea without a rudder or an anchor, drifting on the sea of life. Wayfarers without a home. Our souls are restless until they find rest in God. Without faith, our lives are a meaningless succession of unrelated happenings without rhyme or reason. Have I come to rest in faith? Meditation for the day. This vast universe around us, including this wonderful earth on which we live, was once perhaps only a thought in the mind of God. The nearer the astronomers and the physicists get to the ultimate composition of all things, the nearer the universe approaches a mathematical formula which is thought. The universe may be the thought of the great thinker. We must try to think God's thoughts after him. We must try to get guidance from the divine mind as to what his intention is for the world and what part we can have in carrying out that intention. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may not worry over the limitations of my human mind. I pray that I may live as though my mind were a reflection of the divine mind. Hazelden Foundation, P.O. Box 176, Centre City, MN 55012. My name is Kirsty, and I am an alcoholic.
We hope you enjoyed today's readings. You can also receive Transitions Daily via email and discuss today's readings in our secret Facebook group. So for more information, go to dailyaaemails.com today.
Other than the 24 hours a day reading, unless otherwise specified, all quotes copyright Alcoholics Anonymous World Services, Inc., 1952, 1957, 1967, 1973, 1975, 1976, 1980, 1981, 1984, 1985, 1988, 1990, or 2001.